everybody, I'm Bree the Plant Lady. I'm finally getting to the transplant process here in my wave. If you remember, a few weeks ago I posted videos on sowing barley and larkspur and poppy seeds, but I only did half the bed. All that stuff is germinating and I've got to get the rest of this finished. So my forecast is terrible for the next 7 days. Today is the day. I'm gonna dig out these panicums, get those transplanted, much to Cubby's dismay, and I'm gonna move out those hedychiums over by the hammock, which are in a terrible place because you can't really swing in the hammock because those ginger lilies are in the way. So I'm just repurposing these. I'm not getting rid of them, just moving them to other areas of my garden so that I can then get these areas sown finally for the winter season with barley, poppies, and larkspur. You're the best garden helper. So some of you might be wondering, is the middle of December really the ideal time to be transplanting a tropical like ginger lily? And of course the answer is no. But you know what the ideal time is? When you have the time and the energy and the motivation. And so I am chalking this off to, I put it off for years, and I have the time and the motivation and the energy to do it now. So now is the right time. Even though this would be much more appropriate to do while it's actively growing, I think these are going to transplant fine. I'm quite certain I'm not getting all of the roots, which means more will sprout in the spring. And that's okay, because now I'm going to remember how important it is to go ahead and deal with these and get them relocated, because they're really happy growing under the live oak, which is where I'm transplanting these. I already have a large colony there. And this is a plant that looks really good when you grow it in mass. So you can see the roots are quite large. Inevitably, I'm not getting it all. So the nice thing about hedychium, they don't really have to be planted very deep, which is good, because here under this large live oak, I don't have a lot of soil depth. But what I'm going to do is lay these large clumps in, like so, and I'm going to leave the stalks on, even though they're ugly. I'm going to leave those just as a marker that I have something planted here. And then I'm just going to top dress with more soil cube. That way I know this whole area will have been enriched and that these plants will have a greater success rate of actually transplanting. The cats were starting to make me feel guilty about taking out this panicum, but I know that it's best in the long run because this will look so awesome as one giant annual space. And I'm just gonna relocate these to around the corner. But I do feel really guilty because the cats love rolling around in this, and that's a great reason to grow perennial ornamental grasses. Dogs and cats really appreciate kind of burrowing through it. So I promise I'm not discarding it. I'm just relocating it, but I have a feeling I'm gonna have some angry cats this evening when they discover that this patch of panicum is missing. So you might be wondering, why did I have panicum in this bed to begin with? And the answer is simple. This bed started off as an ornamental grass garden, and most of it died. I planted pink muley grass and it was too wet. So over the years, I've transplanted most of the remnants, and those were my last 2 patches. And I'm really excited to divide those down and put them in other parts of the garden and put them out into the neighborhood entry where they're going to look awesome. So now my next step is just to rake out this bed, bring in some soil cube organic compost, and get busy scattering seeds. Okay, it's time for me to sow seeds. I've got a massive rainstorm coming tomorrow, and though I have been entertaining all day is my mother-in-law's birthday, I'm not gonna lie, I've had like a fair amount of champagne and a little bit of bourbon. I'm gonna go ahead and get this garden finished because you see what I did sow and what I didn't. and it's gonna look really stupid if I don't go ahead and get this accomplished now. So I'm gonna go ahead and get busy. All in all, the seeding process is gonna take me about like maybe 8 minutes tops. So this is really the easiest part of the entire process. So please don't be scared to scatter some seeds and just see what happens. Honestly, it may bring you so much joy that you weren't even aware of. All right, the wave is finished. I have gotten the barley, 3 different varieties of double poppies, all from Baker Creek heirloom seeds sown, and I added some larkspur that I collected last spring. So I think this bed is gonna be beautiful. I only did this mid-section because over to the far left, I'm actually gonna add more organic compost, soil cube organic compost, and there's actually already a whole bunch of larkspur germinating. And that's the benefit of having a seed bank. So thank you so much for watching. I hope you'll be inspired to go out and scatter some seeds and create a beautiful seasonal display so that you'll have gorgeous flowers in the spring.